so, just waiting for everyone to join on here. Um, Great topic today that we're going to get into in a second, and that is about how to market life settlements to your client base. I get a lot of questions about this, and I'm going to show you what I do, areas that I focus on when I am talking to potential investors. So maybe about 30 more seconds and we'll get started. And then I'm going to explain how this is going to work today because it's a little different and how we're lining this up compared to our average days here on how we can answer questions for you. So, um, again, here, I'm going to let everyone know if you're in case you weren't aware that when this is going on today, before I start our show, kind of what goes on to YouTube is I'm actually not here today. This is actually a recorded video, but we do have somebody live in the chat area that can answer all your questions. They will answer your questions live as we're talking. It's just that I'm not here. I'm actually probably on a plane right now flying. I just had a business meeting on the East Coast I had to go to this week. So I'm going to be away from the office, but I can take any of your calls while I'm there. I'm going to just be in North Carolina for a few days, meeting with a producer down in Charlotte. So we'll go ahead and get started in about 10 seconds. Okay, everybody, welcome to Truly Diversified. My name is Ben Mohr. I'm the host of this show, this YouTube channel. If you've been following us for some time, you know we have a lot of content on there, specifically talking about life insurance buyouts or life settlements. It's an area where Warren Buffett and big banks have invested billions of dollars for many, many years, and they've made great profits. Studies have shown they're making double-digit returns along the way. And what we've been able to do over the last decade or so is help people, your type of investors, my type of investors, people who are not Warren Buffett, actually learn how to buy policies, smaller policies than Warren Buffett, and go out there and actually get into this part of the investing world. What's great about this product, as you probably have been told, is that it's a non-correlated asset, meaning that there's no effect whatsoever to the investment based on what happens in the market or anything else of that nature. So if the economy goes bad, etc., your client owns an asset. They're going to get paid from one of the top insurance carriers in the world, and they know that that company is financially secure, right? John Hancock, New York Life, all the big names. We have policies from them. We get those policies to your client, and your client gets paid when somebody passes away. It's that simple, okay? One of the main things I get all the time from people is like, Ben, you've been in this industry for a long time. I've been selling this product for probably almost 20 years. And they go, exactly, how is it that where do you focus? Now, that's the key because most of the people I'm talking to this call probably do a lot of annuities. Okay. And as you know, I'm not against annuities. I've written a lot of annuities in my lifetime as well. But you know that what happens when you write in annuities, you kind of get tunnel vision and you're just looking for that annuity money, not realizing that there's other money that you can pick up along the way from your client base, much smaller amounts. The average annuity written in California, where I'm located, is between $250,000 and $300,000. It's a very big move for somebody. It's a secure move. They're going to get their money for sure. They're also going to get probably an income source down the road, and that's what's great. And it's financially backed by an insurance provider. In our situation here, for a much smaller amount of money, you could buy somebody else's life insurance policy with many of those same providers that people put money with their annuities with, and knowing that that payout for the maturity on that policy is going to come, guess what, from those exact same providers. That's the argument we make, right? And that if you buy a policy for $75,000 and it's worth $300,000 and it's with New York Life, guess what? You're going to get $300,000 from New York Life when that client or that investor, I'm sorry, the person, the insured, passes away. Okay. So I want to go through some real quick hits today on areas that you should be focusing on. Obviously, you want to look. Obviously, if people have an amount of money sitting on the sidelines that they're not happy about, or they have money in the market or other places that aren't working for them, those are the obvious places that you would go to have them invest from. But some areas here with qualified money that they probably have ignored are where I want to focus with you when you get with your client base to discuss these areas. Okay. The first thing I want to show you here is self-directed IRA. Now, many people on here may understand how self-directed IRAs work, others may not. Okay. So when you have money in the market, you're going to go to your Vanguard, your Fidelity, etc., right? They can be your IRA custodian, meaning that if you use money over there, internally, those companies that are worth a lot of money have their own internal offices and departments that handle qualified retirement funds. Same thing goes for if you decide to write an annuity for a client and it's qualified, meaning it's IRA money. Allianz, Athene, F&G, these companies have their own internal department that handles specifically that type of money to make sure that all the tax issues are lined up, RMDs, all of those things. Well, when a client or an investor wants to get creative and decides that they no longer want to just be in the stock market box, right? Or they want to be in the insurance annuity box, and they want to go out there and they want to invest outside there. You've probably heard that you invest your IRA or Roth into real estate, oil and gas, precious metals. Well, life settlements fits that mold. But when you do that, they don't have custodians, right? These companies that we work with are not billion-dollar corporations. So what you do is you actually go out there and get your own self-directed IRA with a self-directed IRA custodian. The company that we use all the time is called IRA Club. We've worked with them for a very long time. They're great at what they do. They can open up an IRA for your client base. They charge a nominal fee to do so, and then an annual fee, just like any other IRA company out there. It's Fidelity, Vanguard, they do all the same thing. But then your client can use that IRA to fund it and then go ahead and buy something like an alternative investment, such as real estate. I'd say that real estate is probably the most common one you see people buying outside of the usual areas. An alternative investment is buying a piece of property as a rental property in their IRA. Precious metals is another one you see. Well, we also fit that niche with life settlements. You can go ahead and buy a life settlement with your IRA. So we set up a self-directed IRA, and now your client has a chance to go ahead and invest here with some portion of money that's IRA or Roth or something else. So again, invest outside the market, diversify away from market risk. That's why people do. When they diversify away from market risk, here's our argument against those other alternatives. You have us over here, and then you have the other big players, which are real estate, precious metals, and let's say oil and gas. Those are the other three that you kind of see. Oil and gas is extremely speculative, as you know, real highs, real lows. So this may not be an area where you want to diversify, right? Because it's too much of a risk. If you have a risk type client, sure. Most people I know who have annuities probably aren't a risk type client. That's not going to do well for them. They probably already own a couple pieces of property already, maybe one or maybe two. Adding in another property is not something somebody wants to deal with in retirement. Dealing with being a landlord, the upkeep, all those things, pain in the butt. They don't want to do that. Okay. So that's where we come in and say, think about this. Your client literally owns a policy on somebody, and that's all there is to it. They make the premiums once a year, premium payments. And then with the companies we have that do the health tracking, they let your client know that person has passed away, and then they get paid. That's really very, very low maintenance, and they know that they're going to get that money. So think about this. If I had somebody come in today, buy a policy for me with their IRA for $75,000, and it's worth, say, $250,000, they know down the road, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, they're going to have $250,000 directly put into their IRA, completely tax deferred. So it's a great, great product to look at for qualified funds. Now, the big talk of these days, and I've done some past shows on this, Roth conversion. Okay. So when people understand Roth conversion is where you're taking a portion of your IRA account because it's very heavy and there's a lot of taxes in there that's going to happen in retirement. You can start paying those taxes now on portions of the money you decide to move to a Roth, and then that money forever will grow tax-free, right? Everybody qualifies for this. There's always a confusion about contributions versus conversion. There are limits on how much you can contribute, and if you make too much money, you can't contribute at all. Okay. But anyone can do a conversion for any amount of money if they want. Go look up Peter Thiel, the gentleman that I believe was the angel investor behind things of like Facebook. The guy did some ungodly amount Roth conversion a few years ago. I mean, it was like something like, I don't know, a few $100 million, but he could do that. Anybody can do a Roth conversion if you're willing to pay the taxes now. So I have a lot of clients that will do 50 to $100,000 Roth conversions every year, pay the taxes on it, and then they're using the money to go ahead and buy smaller policies. Again, I'll give you an example. We have a policy right now, I think that's up there that it's on a 75-year-old male. You can buy it for $80,000 and it's going to be worth $300,000 when the guy passes away. Now, just think about the power of this. The life expectancy on this policy, I think, is 3 years. So there is a decent likelihood this person could be gone in 3 to maybe 5 years. And what you did is you converted some of your money out of an IRA into a Roth. It's now $80,000 tax free. And then you go and you buy an insurance policy on somebody with, a John Hancock or so forth. And within 3 to 4 years, you just took that money. You just took $80,000 that was taxable 4 years ago and turned it into $300,000 tax free. That's where this product with Roth is like a plan on steroids, as I say. It's Roth on steroids. So remember, everyone qualifies for this. You get massive tax savings, and the money you make here is tax free. That's why this is such a crucial component when you're talking to people. If you're talking to people about possibly doing Roth conversions, or you're talking to people who are in their mid 60s who have huge amounts of IRA money between themselves and their spouse, start talking about Roth conversion, get them on a call with me and you, and I will work out the numbers and show them why, if they do the Roth conversion, the perfect place to put some money is to buy policies. Okay. SEP IRA, right? This is if you're self-employed, people can go ahead and dump money in. The reason the power of the SEP is so good is that, unlike regular IRAs where they can only put so much money in, 7,500, 8,500, whatever it is currently, it's roughly around that, is if you're self-employed, you can put up nearly $70,000 in one of these plans every single year. So how does that work? If you have a client that makes $400,000 a year, they can open up a SEP IRA and dump in $70,000 pre-tax into that account. So it lowers the amount of money they're making in income currently. And then that money is over here in a SEP IRA. Now, the big question is, what are they going to invest in? Are they just going to go into the market? Well, probably not. They're tired of that risk. Are they going to buy an annuity for $69,000, $70,000? Probably not. You can see this is a perfect amount of money. $69,000, $70,000 is right there. I have constantly policies that you can purchase for $60,000 to $80,000 all day long. So just imagine that every year your client goes and dumps money into a SEP every single year, gets the tax savings by doing that on their current income, and every year they pick up another policy. They do that for 10 years. They're going to have 10 separate policies and have a full portfolio of policies that they own, right? While also investing elsewise in other places, right? Think about this. What if you had a client who was worked for some company for 20 years, between 25 and 45, or 30 years, and they have an old 401k and they roll that over and they're at Schwab with that money? That's amazing, right? They go ahead and that's their risk money, that's their stock market money, and they do that. But they become a consultant at 55 till 65, and they're making $400,000 a year as a consultant. They no longer are working for a company, they're working from home. This happens all the time. They don't need to put more money in the market. They already have that big nest egg that they had for all those years building. They need to find money to diversify away, and they want to make sure that money is not on the same track or has the same risk exposure as they did in the market. That's where the SEP IRA comes in here, by investing in a life settlement. So every year they can just get these little pieces and build this nice portfolio for themselves of policies while their other money is still in the market, working when the market works. It's a great hedge against market risk, and another investment profile for them to work kind of two sides of the track. Okay. The final one here, I say here, and I'm going to say this, it says dishonest salespeople. I know a lot of you are in annuities. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, that is the business that we are in. I sell annuities too. I work on annuities. I'm a very knowledgeable guy, and I try to be very honest and show people what it is. I can't tell you how many times I've ran into people who have literally the worst annuity I've ever seen. And the reason is the person who sold it to them either was completely ignorant and had no idea what they were doing, or B, they absolutely knew that this thing was a piece of junk and just wanted the commission. So here's where you can go to clients as well. you can talk to them about doing an annuity review because you're going to find out a lot of people. The number one, there are two areas that I tell you that you could get started on track here by asking people two quick questions. The number one question is, do you have an annuity? Number two is, are you happy with it? That starts the conversation. We're not even talking about life settlements. Do you have an annuity? Are you happy with it? I'm an annuity expert. Let me look it over and see what I can do for you. That'll let you look at it. Now you have two choices there. You can either get that money and move it from the annuity and go start buying life settlements with us, and we will pay their surrender fee. That's right, we pay their entire surrender fee. I'm working on a case right now, $400,000 move. I think it's about a $30,000 surrender fee. We're covering it, and the client's going to come over, and now they're going to buy a bunch of different policies with us. And they've moved out of a position where that money was going to be stuck for 10 or 15 years at a very low rate of return. Much more potential upside here, possibly 2 to 3 times the earnings they would get in the annuity, and most likely are going to see that money in half the time. Okay. And we're paying their surrender to move them over. If they don't want to do a surrender, you could cobble together a couple 10% free withdrawals to go buy a small policy. You go, well, how does that work? Well, if somebody has a $300,000 annuity, and let's say their anniversary date's October 1st, they could move 30,000 now out of that policy, absolutely penalty free, and then get another $30,000 after October 1st. We now have 60 grand there, and you and I go shopping and buy them a policy. It's that simple. Okay. So annuity review is another way to get in the door with people, see what they have, and see if they don't like it. We can get them out of their surrender fees, get them into policies, and it works very well for them. So I've given you some kind of ideas and thoughts here, right? Again, to review, there are self-directed IRAs out there that we can get your client into so they can start buying policies. Roth conversion is a very, very hot topic these days. Sit down with your client and try to get together Roth money to buy smaller policies with us. So that money will wind up being tax-free in 3, 4, 5 years. If you have self-employed people, let's have a conversation about doing a SEP IRA with them. And then finally, anybody you can run into that has an annuity, I'm going to tell you 70% of the people you're going to meet are probably not happy with their annuity. It's not because the annuity sucks. It's because the person who sold it to them sucks and bailed. And they just want the bad feeling of making a mistake in their own mind by getting out of this thing. And you're going to be the hero in that case. And we offer to pay their surrender fees so they don't have any objection on why it's time to leave. Okay. So these are some areas that you could definitely, these are the areas that I focus on with people. Other than, hey, you've got some money over here, let's talk about investing. These are the areas that I can prod on. Like, do you have a Roth IRA? What if I could show you how to get tax savings, tax-free savings with the Roth without any market exposure, where people have been averaging double-digit returns? There's one. Do you have an annuity? Are you happy with the annuity? What if I could show you a way to get out of the annuity and possibly get much higher returns on a faster time scale? Would that interest you? Let's review your annuity. Boom, done. Are you self-employed? Are you using your SEP IRA to the full potential? Are you even using a SEP IRA? Right? What if I could show you a way that you could take that SEP IRA and buy something that's going to come from some of the strongest companies in the world, unaffected by the market, with potential for double-digit gains? Very simple. These are the ways you talk. If you see there, I never once talked about the product. I talked about the solution for them for retirement, and then we get into the product. That's the way you work it. If you just come out headstrong and say, here's the product, all the time, you're probably going to get a lot of no's. But if you give people a reason that you're giving them value with the ideas behind it, you come off looking like a strategist who knows what they're talking about. And then you recommend why they should buy this product. Because at that time, it all makes sense. So hope this was of value to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to text or email me. You have my information. And we've had somebody online here. Go ahead and they'll answer your questions. But that's going to do it for me at this time. Again, we'll be back next Wednesday. I will be back in town, and we will move on to the next topic there, where I want to spend some time. Probably going to go more about talking about marketing, what we do for you for marketing. We've had great success with people doing some email, texting, and what I call voicemail drop marketing. And if you are somebody who does very, very well with us, we even talk about starting to doing dinner seminars for you. Those are very, very, they're by far the most expensive thing we do, but they can be a home run if you have a very good book of business where I can fly out to where you are. We do one dinner every quarter for you, and you drive business our way, and we partner up with you. Again, 15% if you sell this product, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. So feel free to get in touch when you can. But for now, we will see you next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And until then, I'm Ben. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Thank you.